see it.
No, I mean, I didn't get to watch it a ton. I'm going to have to freshen up, do my research. But I think, everybody talks about how legendary of a player he was. So I think, I'll have to watch some more and figure that out. But he was a killer, so.
Thank you.
A winner.
Thank you.
Come on, young fella, you got to watch those YouTube highlights, okay?
Not prepared.
All right?
Not prepared.
Listen, we know it's been a tumultuous offseason for the Mavs. I mentioned Kyrie Irving. Irving did turn down his player option, but intends to sign a 3-year, $119 million deal that will keep him in Dallas as he recovers from his ACL injury. Irving averaged 25, 5, and 5 as a Mav. They also brought back key players like Daniel Gafford, who is intending to sign a 3-year extension up to worth nearly $60 million and keeps him locked in through 2029 to join AD and Lively up front. And that front court will feature that man, Cooper Flagg, who the Mavs picked number 1 in the 25 draft, the youngest number 1 overall pick, only behind LeBron James, and provide a dynamic player to pair with an established Maverick stars. All right, now joining us from Atlanta, basketball analyst Andrea Carter and front office insider Bobby Marks. So we'll start with you, Danny, though. What are the expectations for the Mavs?
I mean, they have to be a lot better this year than they were last year, right? With everybody being healthy, still waiting on Kyrie to see what he looks like. But this is a top 6 seeded team, and full strength, you expect them to be in the top 3. I mean, they make these moves for AD. You have a short window. They want to win now. You got Cooper Flagg. You have some depth. You keep Daniel Gafford, Kyrie extension. You need a point guard or some depth at that position. But the expectations for this team, they got to at least make the Western Conference Finals if they're healthy, and if not, the finals.
Wow, Western Conference Finals.
That's the expectation.
Okay.
Right? You traded for AD. You want to win now. You got to get the Western Conference Finals at least this year, and within the next 2 or 3 years, you have to be in the finals.
All right, Bobby, what do you think?
I just want to give a Can I? Oh yeah, go ahead, Bobby.
No, listen. Listen. When we're going to show their roster here in a minute here. I mean, Danny's got a really good point as far as when you take a look at this Dallas Mavericks roster, and when we're looking at it, it's certainly with Kyrie Irving in the lineup, right? When you look at it, this is probably what we're seeing at January. Based on Jason Kidd's press conference, I'm ready to put Cooper Flagg at point guard based on what Jason just said here.
Give him the
ball. But now, the realization that Kyrie's going to be out, and we're going to put Brandon Williams, who is one of their reserves, in the lineup here right now. So this is kind of where you see before we start the free agent period on June 3rd. Here's what Dallas has to offer in free agency here. They've got the $5.7 million tax mid-level exception to go out and find a temporary starter at point guard. Is that a player like D'Angelo Russell? Maybe even, would Chris Paul even come for that amount? They've got 12 players between below $20 million. They're comparable to how Indiana has built their roster with their depth. And then, of course, they've got 2 firsts to trade. So Dallas certainly has the assets in free agency to go out and get that point guard if they need. But it's going to be key to keep this team above water when Kyrie gets back from that injury.
Andrea, Cooper is not Luka, but where could he potentially have a bigger impact for the Mavs this season?
Well, first of all, I want to give a wellness check on Danny. He's had to talk about Duke guys so much recently. So,
man, it's been unbelievable.
Danny, you good?
I'm all right. I'm all right. We got through it. Hopefully, no more. Khan, Knipple, all these guys. Come on, Malowitz. I'm done with the Duke guys, man. But Cooper is a good player, so I have to give him where credit is due.
Be ready. We're going to have to keep talking about them in a little bit, so just be ready. But thank you, Andrea, for the check.
100%. You're doing great, Danny. Just checking on you. And one area that Cooper Flagg will be great is on the defensive end. The defensive energy that he brings and the way that he can impact the game without scoring. The hustle plays, the blocks, the steals, the deflections, just being disruptive on the defensive end. He can hang his hat on that side of things while the offense comes around for him at the NBA level. Because defense is energy, it's effort, it's motor, it's instincts. He has all of those things. So there's an immediate spot for him to come and impact the game. What I love about what Cooper said, and I see this translating perfectly as he gets into the league, was how he said he leaned on the older guys. When he was at Duke, he leaned on Sion James, he leaned on Malik Brown, Mason Gillis, even some of the older guys that didn't log a lot of minutes. Cooper leaned on those guys to get into his groove at the college level. He'll do the same thing with the Dallas Mavericks. He'll lean on the veterans and find his groove. And remember, when he was in college, it wasn't until John Shire told him the team will be successful if you are more aggressive. Once Cooper realized the team would benefit from him being more aggressive, that's when he started being more aggressive. So I see that exact same translation happening for Cooper at the NBA level. I feel like it's going to be very seamless, starting with his defense first, and all the offense starts to come as he finds his flow. And then, yeah, when Kyrie Irving is back healthy, they're contenders, in my opinion, straight away.
All right, Andrea, certainly it's going to be fascinating to watch and see how it all unfolds. But we also have something else that's unfolded, a big shakeup in Toronto after a 13-year run that included a championship in 2019 with this man here to my left.
Sir.
And a major impact to the global game. Masai Ujiri is out as Raptors president and vice chairman. Ujiri was entering the final year of his contract. So let's bring in the man who broke the story this morning, our senior NBA insider, Shams Charania. So, Shams, what's behind this decision in Toronto?
George, this is a byproduct of new leadership at Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, the conglomerate that owns the Toronto Raptors, and they have been evaluating all of their presidents over the last several months. Just a month ago, they fired the NHL president for the Maple Leafs, Brandon Shanahan, and that same decision was made here a month later by letting Masai Ujiri go. The timing certainly a surprise. A day after the NBA draft, when Masai Ujiri was just congratulating their first-round pick the other day, and he was under contract for another season at $15 million, but the Raptors intend to move on from that. 13 years, the 2019 championship as well. He'd become a staple there in the community. But over the last 3 years, they failed to miss the playoffs, and now they will have a full president search for the Raptors.
All right, Shams, thank you so much, as always, for the information and the intel. Our senior NBA insider, Shams Charania. All right, Danny, you were acquired by Masai when they brought Kawhi in, and you guys won the championship.
Yeah, I was the other guy.
In 2019. You were a pretty big deal, too, though. Don't get it twisted. All right, what did Masai mean to this franchise?
Everything. You know, there's nothing short of legendary what he's done for the country of Canada. And all the players, the coaches, they all loved him. You know, he was great in that aspect of the game, in that respect of it. And he was one of the best to recruit people there. You know, and that's why I'm so shocked, but more shocked the fact that they didn't give him an opportunity. The guy like Giannis might be on the market. He is a guy that can bring in a Giannis Antetokounmpo. He obviously done some legendary things in the NBA Africa, you know, Basketball Without Borders. He's done so many things around the world, not just in Canada, but in the whole sport of the NBA and of basketball world. He's meant a lot to, you know, not just the country of Canada, but Africa, United States, everywhere. Besides, he's going to be a guy that's going to be picked up very quickly, I assume, and he's meant